Hey guys, welcome back to Inside the Storm. I'm your host Zane, and today we've got a top show lined up for you. We're going to be hitting all the talking points from the Storm's trip to Darebin, as well as previewing the upcoming games this week, and hitting on the juniors as well. So let's get straight into it. Match week 16 saw the Storm line up against Darebin at home in a really massive game, a game that had a lot of stakes going into it with two sides who were similarly close on the table. Storm currently tied in 8th, with Darebin sitting in 5th. With a decent point gap between them of 7 points. So a really big chance for the Storm to close the gap a little bit to the top half of the table, as well as establish some safety. While the Storm is currently tied sitting in 8th, they are also on goal difference currently in 10th place. So a really good opportunity for them to build some momentum and put some distance between 11th and 12th, with 11th place Stormbreed currently sitting 3 points behind. So a really big opportunity for the Storm. And I think that was really reflected in the pre-game conversations, as well as the media that came around and the interviews from the players discussing the game before as a really good opportunity against a good side, a side that played them really well last time. And obviously, in the first round robin, the Storm's fifth game was against Darebin, and probably one of the performances where the Storm struggled a lot away from home. And so a really good opportunity to get a little bit of revenge and to show the progress of the season. And definitely we saw that in a really balanced game. The first half ended up 1-1, two quite funny goals, both sides. An own goal for the Storm and an unlucky deflection that resulted in a Darebin equaliser. So we went into halftime 1-1 in a fairly balanced game. I think the Storm in the first 20 minutes had lion's share of possession, control, and I think that kind of ceded away. And Darebin really grew into the game, and then they probably finished the last 5 to 10 better. They got their equaliser, and everything was kind of poised second half. And second half just kind of came down to chances and moments, and I think the Storm was unable to take a couple of their moments, hitting the crossbar, not being able to finish really big chances, unfortunately, and then ultimately getting hit on the break. And that's football, that happens. Their second goal, Storm has the ball high up. There's a quick turnover, a little bit of transitional play, and Darebin's in, and they capitalize on their opportunity really well from a cutback to the 9, and Storm goes down 2-1 with about 50 minutes to go, and then the real commitments all came forward. The Storm really pushed to get an equalizer, and unfortunately, in pushing, conceded a third. And after that, I think it became just a real all-out attack game. And the Storm was able to peg another one back to get 3-2, Samir being able to get his first goal. But just a difficult game with unfortunate moments going against the Storm. And we saw a lot of chances that we just unfortunately weren't able to take. And that's football. Sometimes that happens. I think overall the performance was really strong, and it was a big improvement from the first time these sides faced each other. But unfortunately, the Storm wasn't able to get a win, and that puts a little bit more pressure on the squad in the upcoming weeks, especially looking at the next couple match weeks, understanding the caliber of teams that are coming up. And just an unfortunate game. Ultimately, that's football. Sometimes you'll put numbers forward and get hit on transition. But overall, I think a very encouraging performance. We definitely saw that reflected in the post-game discussions, that ultimately just the intensity, and I think the drive has to match the requirements of the game. And I think in a couple of moments, the squad was a little complacent in their football, and ultimately that ended up punishing them.
Look, unfortunately, it is football, and the better opposition won. I think it was just our mistakes that kind of let us down. We still have 6 games to go, and we'll try to work on what we've done wrong, and hopefully we'll push on from here.
I think we probably let ourselves down a bit. I think we had the quality to play, and we probably missed out on it a bit. I think we just didn't compete. Sometimes, look, they're big boys. It's hard to deal with, but I think we just need to go harder, and I think we know that. We'll come back next week. We'll look at the game, find out what we did wrong, and we'll go stronger, better, faster, and win.
Yeah, it was a difficult game. Thought we started really strong, but then we let them grow into the game. They scored a set piece, and they caught us on transition twice. Good fight from the boys, but yeah, we've got to be better for the rest of the season and going into the next game.
Covering the reserves, they had been on a 2-game loss streak in 2 really unfortunate performances, hindered by a lot of injuries. And they were able to get a huge bounce-back win against Darebin, with the game finishing 4-3, being up 4-1 at some point. and a really, really strong performance from the reserves. We saw a lot of goals, a lot of free-flowing football, and really positive signs there in how they were able to play and bounce back from a couple tough results and a couple weeks of poor performances after their huge win against first place Moonee Valley reserves, and definitely encouraging for the reserves, for those players to get some confidence back, to get a big win, score 4 goals. I think a really, really positive reinforcement for them and for their progress, and definitely for some of the reserves to push on to look for to play for the senior team. And overall, really, really positive stuff to get a win for them and break their loss streak and really kick on for the remainder of the season. Looking on to this weekend, the Storm takes on Deakin away from home in a really, really tough game. Deakin currently sitting in 3rd place. They've been one of the best teams in the division, extremely consistent, good form. They've got a really young, talented group of players. And we saw that last time they played seniors. They won 2-0 at home. When the Storm was at home. And also beating the reserves 4-0. So a really, really competent, really threatening attacking outlet of a team. And so I think the preparation into that game has to be flawless, all in all. And the overall level of game that has to be played from the squad needs to be extremely high because they're an extremely strong team. And I think that the squad's aware of that. The coaching staff is aware of exactly what needs to be done before this game and before the next games to really, really finish off the season strong. Getting a win away from home against Deakin would be a huge accomplishment for the squad and be really, really positive in establishing safety, pushing on for the end of the season and looking into next season. And I think 6 to 9 points would guarantee complete safety for the Storm, and the sooner that comes, the more the Storm can look at pushing up on the table after safety and seeing just how high they can finish. But it requires a little bit of consistency, and I think the issue with the squad in recent weeks has just been a little bit of inconsistency. Generally, while the performances are strong, there's a little bit of inconsistency in overall performance throughout the 90, and that's really, really important because at this level, those little moments are what makes the difference in football. It's a game of moments, it's a game of margins, and unfortunately, not putting your chances away or not being clinical, decisive, and making defensive mistakes can cost you points as it has before. And definitely a huge opportunity to go out there, play against the top side away from home. Obviously, Storm has played in recent weeks Moonee Valley away from home, which was quite a bad loss, and then Kilo away from home 2 weeks ago, which was a better performance, but again a loss. And so I think this is the best opportunity to go out, play one of those top sides away from home, and really, really build some momentum before facing Doreen in a couple of weeks as well, who are another top side. So these away trips are definitely extremely difficult, but the first one that turns into a win will be a really, really positive momentum shift for the squad and reward them for some strong performances, because unfortunately if this week were to be lost and 3 losses in a row in the second round robin would be really, really tough to recover from mentally, and especially with the aspirations of the squad to push up and ensure their safety. I think going down to a relegation race in the last 4 or 5 weeks can be extremely pressurizing for everyone involved, and I think the goal is to establish safety as soon as possible. And it all starts this week, and I think Deakin's it's definitely a winnable game. It's a game where the squad can have a top performance and come out, and I think on balance, the squad can play the football to beat anyone. It all just comes down to performance, intensity, and just wanting it, and that's how state football is, to be honest. Checking in on the junior side, we're about more than halfway through the season. It's been incredible to see the progress that a lot of the teams are making. This week we got to focus in on Coach Gorky's side, and they got a media focus, the 10 Kangaroos, and it's been incredible to see the development of those players and the level of football they're able to play, the combinations, the triangles, the passing play, the wing play. It's really top to see that kind of development. And ultimately, when you're looking at those squads, the 10s, the 12s, the 13s even, it's all about developing those players into being competent enough to play senior football. And I think that's the goal of any kind of junior team, more than results, etc. It's just about developing players and seeing their development and their tactical understanding and their ability to play systems and play that kind of football where they're making triangles and holding the ball and holding possession and playing that kind of total football. It's incredible to see, and it's really, really positive to see that in the development of the youth of the club as a whole. So again, this week, playing Deakin away, a huge game if you can come support. It is a bit of an away trip, but if you can come and support or show your support on the next home game, check out the live stream. Obviously on Sundays, all the junior games will be going on. If you can come down and volunteer, that would be incredible as well, and always much appreciated to have that kind of help. But definitely seniors need your support as much as possible, so if you can come for the away trip and come watch, it'll be greatly appreciated. Reserves kick off 1 p.m, seniors kick off 3 p.m. All the details will come out in the preview of the game. So come down, check it out, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.